alaikum everyone. I hope you're okay at your homes and away from Corona. But you don't have to be away from Corona classes where we are going to discuss clauses today. Okay? You know about clauses, I believe. Okay, because we have been doing in the classrooms a lot to understand the clauses. Yes or no? Okay, just to refresh your knowledge, this effort is being made just to add to your previous knowledge. I don't claim that I'm doing everything for you, but this is just a humble effort to add to your previous knowledge. Okay, now when we talk about clause, a group of words in a sentence, a fragment, a part of sentence, like phrase. But what is dissimilar? Okay, when we talk about phrases and clauses, what is the difference? The difference is that when we talk about phrases, we talk about a group of words grammatically arranged, producing incomplete sense or sometimes even stupid sort of sense, unless it is added to some other part of the sentence. Yes, this was what we discussed while discussing phrases. And what is the clause? Clause, on the other hand, is a part of a sentence or a fragment which has a finite verb. Okay, and there are clauses which can produce complete sense and can stand as separate sentences as well. These clauses are known as the main clauses, or the independent clauses, or the principal clauses, or the verb clauses. There are so many names given to these clauses, or the coordinate clauses as well. Okay, fine. And the other type of clauses, now we are discussing the types of clauses. Two types basically when we talk about the clauses: main clauses and the subordinate clauses, or main clauses and the dependent clauses, or independent clauses and the dependent clauses. Okay, so what is the difference between these two? Means, what are the dependent clauses, what are the independent clauses, or what are the coordinate clauses and what are the subordinate clauses? To understand the difference, you need to be with me when I go to the board. Please come to the board, please. Thank you very much. Okay, so clauses are of two types. There are main clauses, which are also known as principal clauses, coordinate clauses, independent clauses, matrix for that matter, and verb clauses. Okay, and there are the clauses which are known as dependent clauses and the subordinate clauses. Fine. Then the subordinate clauses can further be classified as noun clauses, adjective clauses, adverb clauses. Another name is also given to the adjective clauses, and that is the relative clauses. Okay, these adjective clauses are also known as relative clause. Okay, so these are the two types of clause. Okay, fine. Now when we come to see what are the similarities and what are the dissimilarities between these two, means the main clauses and the subordinate clauses, we come to these points. Look, a main clause is a group of words, yes, and a subordinate clause is also a group of words. Fine. A main clause has got a finite verb. Okay, yes or no? A finite verb is there in the subordinate clause as well. Fine. So similar group of words, this is also group of words. It has a finite verb, it also has a finite verb. Where does the difference come? This is the area where the difference comes. Okay, a main clause or principal clause can stand as a separate sentence. When it is detached from any sentence, it can become a sentence by itself. It means it can survive as a separate sentence. Yes. And what happens to the subordinate clause? It cannot stand as a separate sentence. Okay, a subordinate clause depends on some word in the main clause. Understood or not? A subordinate clause depends on some word, maybe a noun, maybe a verb in the main clause. So that is why it is known as the dependent clause or the subordinate clause, because it has to, serve some word in the main clause. Understood or not? Now this is the difference. Just to recap, what is the difference? The main clauses are the clauses which can become sentences on their own. They can become simple sentences when they are detached from the bigger sentence. Okay, they can stand on their own. And what are the subordinate clauses? They cannot stand on their own. They cannot they cannot express the complete sense unless they are attached back to the main clause. Without a main clause, a dependent clause doesn't express its complete sense. Okay, now let's have some more examples on that. Okay, come to the board again. Thank you very much. Come to the board to understand the difference. Okay, there are some examples through which we can understand the difference between the subordinate clauses and the main clauses. Fine. For example, we start from the subordinate clauses. That she is a teacher. Okay, that she is a teacher. If someone comes to you and tells you that she is a teacher, that you are my friend, where I met him, when the earth was shaking, when he shot a bullet, will you be able to understand? No. This is what a subordinate clause does to us. That when only a subordinate clause is written or told, we are unable to understand that what the actual meaning of that part is, unless that subordinate clause is added to some main clause. Now look at this. That she is a teacher. When this part is added to this part, she says that she is a teacher. Now this clause has got a meaning. Now this expression has got some sense. Without this part is not producing the complete sense, and the listener and the reader raises questions that what are you talking about saying that she is a teacher? Okay, look at the other part, subordinate clause, that we can learn English. If we keep on saying that we can learn English, that we can learn English, that will you be able to understand that we can learn English without adding this clause to this main clause? I believe what? That we can learn English. Now it can be understood. Now this subordinate clause has got the sense with the help of the main clause. That is why subordinate clauses are known to be the dependent clauses. Okay, because they depend on some word in the main clause, especially the verbs and nouns in the main clause. Okay, look at the third example. Where we had decided to meet. Where we had decided to meet doesn't produce the sense unless it is added to the main clause. He met me where we had decided to meet. Okay, if we look at these clauses which are the main clauses, we can understand that they can survive as separate sentences. Even if they are not added to the subordinate clauses, they can survive. For example, if we put a full stop over here, she says, will you be able to understand or not? Yes, it is quite understandable. She cooks, okay, understandable or not? She drives, understandable or not? Similarly, she says, understandable. I believe. Is it a complete sentence now or not? When you have put a full stop over there, or when you say I believe, Is there any question to be raised? No. I drive, I teach, I believe, I respect. Huh? Is that understandable or not? Yes, it is. He met me. Fine. Is there any question to be asked from this clause? No. It is understandable. So this is the beauty of the main clauses, that they are independent. Why? Because they don't need to depend on any other clause. That is why they are independent. Okay. Now what is the problem with the subordinate clauses? Not problem, by the way, just grammatically speaking. They depend on some part of the main clause. Okay, understood? Come to the fourth example. Who claims to be a doctor? Fine. Who claims to be a doctor? Who claims to be a doctor? Will you be able to understand? No. Look at the main clause. Now connect this subordinate clause with the main clause. He is the man who claims to be a doctor. Now it has got the sense. He is the man who claims to be a doctor. Now both the clauses are understandable. This is the subordinate clause, this is the dependent clause describing the man, which is a noun in the main clause. So we can say this is the adjective clause because it is describing a noun in the main clause. Fine. We shall be discussing the adjective clauses and noun clauses and the adverb clauses separately. Don't worry. Today let's understand the difference between the main and the subordinate clauses. Okay. Come to the next example. Look at this sentence. The man who claims to be a doctor knows very little about COVID-19. Now look at the black part of the sentence, the part which is written in black. Look, the man knows very little about COVID-19. This is the main clause. This is the principal clause. Okay. And what is this greenish part of the sentence? It describes the man. Which man knows very little about COVID-19? Which man? Who claims to be a doctor. Okay. Now this who claims to be a doctor is responding to a question about the man in the main clause. Understood or not? Okay. The man knows very little about COVID-19. Which man? Who claims to be a doctor. Now from this example you can understand that the order can be different as well. Like in all the previous four examples you have seen that main clauses are written in the beginning and the subordinate clauses are written in the end. Means main clause, subordinate clause, main clause, subordinate clause, main clause, subordinate clause, main clause, subordinate clause, main clause, first part of the main clause, then subordinate clause, then the other part of the main clause. And the subordinate clause has been placed soon after the noun in the main clause to describe it. Okay, now this can also be a way to write a complex sentence. When we have such a structure where there's a main clause and a subordinate clause, that structure is termed as a complex sentence. Come to the next example, please. I saw him. Okay, I saw him. No problem. This can be written as a separate sentence. This can be told as a separate sentence. But look at this part. When he was looking for a mask. Only this part cannot stand on its own. When did I see him is being told here. When did I see him? When he was looking for a mask. When did I see him? When he was looking for a mask. Understood or not? Come to the next example. He is. Okay, he is. फिर क्या करें? He is what his friends are. So here what is being answered? What is he? What is he? What is he? He is what his friends are. Now this is the subordinate clause here serving the verb in the main clause. Okay, fine. Now without this part of the sentence is not going to provide any sense. Okay, now look at this last sentence, that you watch my videos, I know. Look, that this part which is written in green, which is the subordinate clause, is written before the main clause. Okay, this is also a way to write a structure where you write, you know, the subordinate clause in the start of a sentence. Okay, and when it acts like the subject of a sentence. Fine. That you watch my videos, I know what, that you watch my videos. Okay, now such expressions are found in poetry as well. Okay, that you are a great man, we believe. That she knows English, we know. Okay, that my brothers cannot leave me, I expect. That you will watch and subscribe and share this video, I think. So this is how the subordinate clauses can be placed in the start of a sentence. I hope that something has been added to your knowledge. I hope that you are going to subscribe. I hope that you are going to share, and we shall be meeting in the coming videos, inshallah. Allah Hafiz. Thank you.